Almost 3 years ago, back in the summer of 2019, I had a chance to read the superb book Rise of the Little Horn by Jonathan Dane, which many of you who are watching are likely familiar with. The original book was released in 2018, but recently I had a chance to pick up the revised version, which has a fair amount of additional text added in October of 2021, including a scriptural index. I've only started to read a new copy this past week, but since I often take my time when reading books, I thought maybe it would be best to do a short video about the book now, in case any of you are not aware of it. To give you a quick primer, the book makes the case that the biblical man of sin, the son of perdition, the one we refer to as the Antichrist, is none other than Donald J. Trump. He is the one who is called the Little Horn in the book of Daniel. Fascinatingly, most of the book was composed between April and August of 2016, months before Trump even won the election, let alone occupied the White House. That is how sure Mr. Dane was of his convictions regarding Trump. The bottom line is that this is an exceptionally well-written and well-researched book. Mr. Dane does an amazing job of educating the reader with numerous Bible verses and putting them in context with the words and actions of Donald J. Trump. Whether you're convinced that Trump is the Antichrist, or if you're still a bit on the fence about it, I highly recommend that you grab a copy of the revised edition. If this book doesn't convince you what Trump is, then perhaps nothing will. It should also be noted that there are very few actual books written about Trump being the Antichrist. There are a few YouTube channels out there, obviously, and a couple of websites here and there, but it's a veritable wilderness in the print media. In fact, as I'm making this video, I can't think of another book out there unless it's a PDF file or pamphlet you can download online. Perhaps a couple have been written over the past year or two, but certainly nothing of the quality of Rise of the Little Horn that I'm aware of. Not that those other books wouldn't be important too, of course. It's just that Rise of the Little Horn is one of those in-depth biblical examinations of the phenomena of Trump and his rise to power that every single Christian should have a copy of. I should also add that you're probably not going to read this over a lazy weekend. Mr. Dane's book is quite comprehensive with many biblical references and sound reasoning, so you have to pay attention to what he's written. Some of us, of course, are more into books than others. After all, it's 2022, and it seems as if everything has to be online, or it's not worth looking at. However, if you think you won't enjoy a book like this because you're not a big reader, you may want to seriously reconsider. Rise of the Little Horn is simply an essential book for your studies of Bible prophecy. It's a book that, even if you don't read it straight through, is worth keeping by your desk or nightstand to page through from time to time. In fact, you can pick it up once a month and choose almost any chapter in the book, and you'll find yourself immersed in Bible verses about the prophecy of the Antichrist and be amazed at how they relate directly to Trump. A couple of years back, I talked about how I first became suspicious of Trump right around the time he took office in 2016, and how in early 2017, I started searching on YouTube for Christians who shared my view, but every single one of them told me how great Trump was. Finally, I stumbled across the channel of Brother James Key, and his videos helped to reinforce what I already felt about Trump and confirmed to me that I was on the right path. To me, Brother Key is the original voice crying out in the wilderness of YouTube. There's also, however, one other essential voice in these end times. That's Jonathan Dane and his book Rise of the Little Horn. It should be required reading not only for every Christian, but for anyone else uncomfortable with the rise of Trump on the world scene. I'll put a couple of links down in the description area where you can order the book or reach out to Mr. Dane. Please note that these are not affiliate links of any kind, and they are strictly for your convenience. In closing, if you don't already have one, order yourself a copy of the revised edition of Rise of the Little Horn, either for yourself or a friend. It's an absolutely superb book, and I believe it will play an important role in saving souls in the end times. That's all for this video, so thanks for watching, and I'll be back in a couple of days. I'll talk to you guys soon.